I'm Lynne Boyer, and you're listening to Community Catalysts, a podcast that supports each other through shared experience. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Community Catalyst Podcast. I'm your host, Lynne Boyer, Vice President of Community Impact here at the YMCA of Greater Nashua. I'm really excited about our guest today. We haven't had our podcast for a little while just because of the holidays and the weather and all the excitement that we've had here at the Y. So I'm really pleased to get these back on track, and I'm very excited about our guest today. This is an organization that we have partnered with for a long time. I've had experience firsthand with their organization, and I can't wait for you all to hear about it. So I will let my guests introduce themselves.
Great. Thank you so much, Lynn. I am Jana Brown. I am the program manager at the Children's Literacy Foundation, and so happy to be here today to talk about our long partnership with your YMCA and all of the different ways that we're serving kids in Vermont and New Hampshire.
Yes, thank you, Jana, for joining us. So tell us about your organization, where you're located, who you serve. We'll talk about the Y partnership in a little bit, but feel free to go over any other organizations that you have partnerships with, as well as how you're funded.
Oh, perfect. So the Children's Literacy Foundation is a nonprofit. We are based in Waterbury Center, Vermont. And we're Vermont based, but we serve all of Vermont and New Hampshire equally. So we are a statewide nonprofit program operating in both states. And our mission is to inspire children in under-resourced communities in Vermont and New Hampshire to promote a love of reading and writing. So our mission is really interesting in that promoting a love of reading and writing are sort of the two main prongs of our mission. So we do that in a variety of ways through our grant programs, which I'm happy to sort of chat a little bit about each of those here now. But we absolutely want folks to know that we are serving both states, so both Vermont and New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about those grant funds and how you're able to do the impact of work.
Great. So CLiF has been a nonprofit literacy organization for nearly 30 years. So within that space of time, we've really sort of grown and evolved our literacy grant programs. So at the core, the work that we do is bringing literacy experiences to kids in Vermont and New Hampshire. We work with a network of over 50 different professional presenters. So the folks we work with are children's book authors and illustrators and storytellers and poets. So we have this really great diverse set of folks who are professionals in the literacy space that are working with us to really directly in person engage kids in Vermont and New Hampshire. And in addition to that core piece of programming, book access and book giveaways are another huge part of what we do. So at any given CLiF event, we're bringing a huge variety of completely new books for kids to choose and take home. Because another really important piece of what we do is providing book access to kids who, may live in book deserts or who may not, for a variety of reasons, have a lot of access to books in the home. And we're also really focused on book choice because all of the research shows, the teachers, the education professionals that we work with talk about the importance of kids being able to choose books that speak to them, books that reflect their interests, books that reflect, their own experiences, and just allowing kids to connect with a book from a variety of options is a really important and impactful way to get them to engage with reading.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've witnessed it firsthand. It became one of my most favorite partnerships, but also events when I was running camp and now in my role as well. Because it's a source of entertainment for the kids and it kind of, like you said, inspires a love of reading and writing. But then you're giving them the tools to go home with, which I love. And I think that's really wonderful. So with the people that are the storytellers, can you talk about that process? How do you recruit those individuals? Is there a training? Are a lot of them retirees?
Yeah. Oh, that's a really great question. So we have a really sort of, as I was naming the different types of presenters, we work with poets, authors, illustrators, author illustrators, some really wonderful folks who come to CLiF with a teaching background. a lot of different experiences working with kids. So there's a lot of sort of diversity of experience and creative work within our network. And nearly all of our presenters are actually located in Vermont or New Hampshire because when CLiF was first founded as an organization, a part of the model was that we really wanted kids to be able to see creative professionals and authors and storytellers who were sort of living and working in their own communities. Like we felt there was something really special about that community connection. Our presenters travel all across Vermont and New Hampshire, so you're not necessarily seeing someone directly, in your hometown community, but just the fact that our presenters can sort of connect with the community because they're part of that community as well, just gives kids like a really important window, I think, into the ability to just be creative professionals themselves someday, or be an author or be a writer, just because those folks are, folks from Vermont and New Hampshire. And we have expanded a little bit just into, the northern parts of Massachusetts or some bordering states, just because there are so many talented professionals who are still part of the community that we serve, even if they're not, strictly on one particular side of the state line or not. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, that's really wonderful.
yeah, and those,
Um,
oh, sorry, those
no, no,
folks
go ahead.
come to us in a variety of ways. We've worked with so many teachers and librarians and school leaders across both states. So sometimes it's a matter of having folks refer folks to CLiF, saying like, I saw this author, they were fantastic with our school, encouraging CLiF to connect with them. And we're also really fortunate that some of our current presenters have really been with CLiF almost since the beginning. So we have some presenters with really deep history with CLiF. They've been working with us for decades, serving kids in both states.
Yeah, that's really great. So let's talk for a minute about our partnership.
Sure.
Between the two of us, we're not exactly sure how long we've been doing this, but we both agree
Right.
it's been a long time,
Yes.
at least 9 or 10 years. Um, And I know that we've had you in our camp programs, our early education program, our Power Scholars program. Um, so can you talk a little bit about what that looks like? Maybe, how many times a year we're able to host you?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorite things about working with an organization like the YMCA is that under that YMCA umbrella, you all are serving kids and families in so many different ways, and it really provides an organization like CLiF just multiple access points to really meet kids and families in whatever program they're connected with. So we always have really appreciated partnerships with organizations like the YMCA. And, as you said, CLiF operates a summer readers program. So during the summer months, during those 8 to 10 weeks of summer when kids are out of school and on vacation, we have a really wide-ranging grant program that brings storytellers and author presentations and book giveaways to kids, essentially wherever they are during the summer, whether that's an early childhood education program, whether it's a summer camp program. We've worked with your Power Scholars program that's, connected to summer enrichment. And so we've been able to serve your network in all of those different ways. And I think it's been a really fantastic partnership. And we're always so pleased to have long-term multi-year partnerships because, we know each other's work so well and we can be really creative around how best to serve kids and families.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a really impactful partnership for us to have over the years. I always love we had the presentation with the storyteller, and then, we put the books out, and to your point, we, separate them age appropriateness. So there'd be, all these tables with all these different books, and you tell the kids, okay, you can take two books, and they would get so excited, like, really, for free? I can take these home. And it was such a highlight of not just their day or week, but their whole summer that they, were able to take books home, brand new books home, for free, and share those with their family as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
access to books in the home is just so critical to reading success for kids.
yeah,
And we love our summer program because it really allows us to meet kids and families during the summer when naturally I think there can be a drop in time spent reading during the summer months when they're not in school. So just to really promote the idea that summer reading is important, but and it can also be exciting and engaging.
Yeah,
for
and
kids.
fun.
Yes, exactly. We very much want summer reading to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you've been with the organization for some time. So tell me something that you're most proud of during your time there, whether it's something that you implemented or something that you witnessed, or if it was possible growth, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think one of the things I appreciate so much about CLiF is our ability to sort of be a very dynamic and flexible organization and really respond to, the needs of kids and families in the literacy space, sort of as our relationships with technology changes, as folks are engaging with learning more in a screen-based way, just really helping to remind folks that physical connection with a book and like really promoting the importance of reading engagement. I know for me, it feels like CLiF's work around promoting that love of reading and writing is more important than ever. All sorts of national studies, national news about decline in reading rates, or just the general decline in engagement with reading, or even just family connection around literacy. So we know, based on all of that, that the work we're doing is really important, just to help kids, succeed in school and succeed at their careers and in life. But also just a huge focus for us is building a community connection around reading. So it's not just for all the ways that it's good for academics and good for career, but just really building community, building connection within families around stories, and that books for kids have really evolved so much, and there are all these fun new formats that really sort of speak to kids where they are, whether it's graphic novels, graphic content, or, really fun ways to engage kids with nonfiction. So I just think the work with CLiF is always fun because we're always trying to sort of embrace recent trends in reading, be really responsive to what kids want to engage with, and really sort of helping families. Modern families have, as you well know, working for an organization like the YMCA, sort of the stresses and just the work that families are doing these days, is complex, and it feels like it's growing more complex. So just really encouraging folks to slow down and build in that time to connect over stories within the family has all sorts of, social, emotional health benefits as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have anything exciting coming up at the organization that you want to share with us?
Sure. So CLiF, is celebrating a really exciting time, I think, in our growth or in our history as a nonprofit. So we recently moved into a brand new building. So um, we sort of launched into this new space. Our founding executive director, who built CLiF from the ground up, retired, and we have our new executive director, Laura Rice, who I think has actually spoken with you, I think, on this podcast before. So we're really sort of entering this really exciting next chapter in CLiF's history. And we just went through a strategic planning process where we, did a lot of expert interviews around folks who are, deeply involved in the literacy field. We engaged with a lot of our community partners to really get feedback around, sort of what should be the focus of CLiF in the coming years. Where can we have the biggest impact? What do kids and families need, and how can we help sort of meet those needs with the work that we do? So, um, you know, some of our big takeaways from that are, to continue serving communities in a really focused community-based way, and really leaning into some of our early childhood education work. Continuing our great partnership with organizations like your early childhood education program. So it's exciting. Yeah, we continue to evolve our grant programs, seek out new partners. I think because our work is so adaptable and flexible to partner with so many programs, we're always just looking to promote awareness of what we do and find those creative partnerships at the same time that we're interested in maintaining those long-term partnerships as well.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully we can help you in that promotion, and we really look forward to continuing our partnership with you and hosting you again this summer.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you so much.
yeah,
Well, speaking of what's on the horizon, summer is a really great thing to talk about. So even though we're only at the end of February, summer planning is already underway. So for folks out there listening who might work with a program that serves kids and families during the summer, absolutely check out our website, be in touch, and think about ways that CLiF might be able to work with your organization.
Yeah. Yes, definitely highly recommend CLiF.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jana, for joining us and for sharing what your organization does. And again, it's one of my favorite partnerships, so I'm always happy to share the information on it and the impact that we're able to do together. And as an avid reader myself, I'm very passionate about the work that you're doing too. So it's really great. So thank
Yeah,
you very
thank you so
much. I
much.
appreciate it. And thank you to our audience for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Community Catalyst Podcast. You can download Community Catalyst on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Castbox, and Spotify.